Hey, everybody, welcome back to part two of the top 10 players you need to avoid this year in drafting. I'm here with my boy Thomas. Thomas, what's happening?
What's going on, y'all?
Hey, listen, we've had so much technical difficulties through this episode, from Thomas's cat powering him down in part one, to my computer only picking up the audio of our part two. So this is take two of part two that we're getting into. So thank you for hanging with us. I appreciate it greatly. Um, Part one we ended, and Thomas was throwing out stats. He's all high tech and the statty young guy that I got on the program. Me, look, I'm the old curmudgeon, the one with the gray hair that's been through this. I keep my stats up here and everything. So um, this is what I talk about on the show is environmental roster management and environmental drafting. The reason that I've decided that this is where I want to live and this is where I want the show to go is because I want to remind everybody stats are great. But look, I've listened to a ton of podcasts and they can cherry pick stats to make anybody look either bad or good, depending upon what take they want to do. So, I hear guys all the time, well, if you take from week 10 to week 17, he was the RB2. Well, that's great. What happened week 1 through 10 or week 1 through 9? How was he then? Did being RB2 10 through 17 help you win championship? Did it help you get into playoffs? Probably not, because that week 1 through 9, that was the environment where he was battling it out with another running back for shares. And it wasn't until that running back got hurt that he actually blew up. There's your environment that is the production of the stats. You can have all the stats you want. I love stats. I do base some of my drafting on stats. Like I was looking just today on the rankings of defenses, and this is something I want to bring up before we get into round six. Is when you're drafting, look at the first 4 weeks of the strength of schedule for the players that you're targeting, not the players that you're targeting like rounds 1 through 5 or 1 through 6. Those guys are, you're betting on the talent. It's the guys in the later round that you're going to have to look at and go, okay, what are they going up against? Who are they playing? And throughout the season, defenses change, they adapt. Rookies step up, veterans get hurt. So look at the bottom of the defenses, see who the wide receivers are on that team. Those are the guys that you want to target late, like Carolina. You want to target somebody late? Tyron McMillan, Adam Thielen in really deep leagues, okay? Because they are horrible. Tennessee Titans, bottom five defense. You want to target guys like Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard. They're going to be out there and they're going to have to score points because their defense sucks. So this is stuff that I want you guys to keep in a mind on and keep an eye on while you're going through this draft process. Now, later on in the season, as we get closer to draft week, which is the last week of August, I'm going to be throwing out some stuff, tips and tricks about what you need to look for your draft. But right now, let's get back into top 10 players you want to avoid. We're going from round 6 to round 10. And since I'm the oddball, that's why I'm taking the odd numbers. So, Mr. Even Keel, Thomas, we're going to let you take number 6. What you got?
All right. In round six was a little bit of a problem for me because there were two players that I was struck between, and one of which I just couldn't pick because, he's homegrown boy in Chris Olave, so I can't throw him under the bus. So instead, I'm gonna throw Jerry Judy under the bus. While he did have just over 1,200 yards last season, that was only four touchdowns that went along with that, which is just too big of a concern for me. You couple that with, his history of underperforming and the uncertainty of what his role is going to be still in that offense. There's just way better options with the likes of Chris Godwin, Travis Hunter, Jalen Waddle even is going in that round. So
Yeah, I'm with you on the Jerry Judy thing. Now, I'll tell you right now, my thought on the whole Cleveland situation. One, they got too many damn quarterbacks because they got Shador, the rookie they drafted with Shador, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and he who shall not be named, Lord Voldemort. Shout out to the Ballers for the Voldemort reference. Still under contract. Somebody ain't making this team. Now, it's my estimation. It's probably going to be Kenny Pickett because he's easily droppable. Joe Flacco, look, he's proven that he can go into a situation and make everybody around him better. Okay. He's also shown that he's really old and probably shouldn't be in the NFL. So, which Joe Flacco is Cleveland getting? That's the real question here. Now, I get that Shador balled out week one of his NFL debut in preseason, but this is against guys who are going to be bagging groceries next week. So they're not. Talk to me a little later in the preseason, and then I'll give flowers to Shador or not. Okay, but as it stands right now, he ain't really shown me a whole lot. Okay, I want something. I want some substance with this because he's coming from a school where his daddy coached. Would he have really been a starting quarterback on any other team?
agreed.
So you got that. Now the whole Travis Hunter thing, like, look, I'm down. I think this dude's the truth. I think this guy should be where he's being drafted, maybe even a little higher. Um, and as far as your homegrown boy, Concussion Olave, um,
At least it ain't Tua.
yeah, I mean he doesn't have Carr throwing him murder balls over the middle anymore, leading him into tackles. So, you know, does he have the ability? Yes, but I mean, really, Tyler Shuck is that Spencer Rattler? Is that who you're really gonna hope pin your hopes on? Because when you're looking at rounds like this, it's not so much that you believe in the player, it's do you trust the people that are making him productive? Do you
So
trust the brand new coaching staff and Kellen Moore? Do you trust the fact that this team is trying to play for Arch Manning next year and trying to play for the number one pick in the NFL draft? Okay, so who are you really trusting here? I would trust if it was straight Chris Olave, I would trust Chris Olave, no problem. I've
I
seen
right there with you.
I've seen Jerry Judy be relevant for fantasy football and be extremely helpful to get you to a playoff. But do you really trust the Browns? I mean,
Not even a little.
if he was back in Denver, cool. I trust Bo Nix. I trust Sean Payton. That's why I trust Cortland Sutton. But I don't trust Cleveland. I don't trust Shador, Gabriel, Pickett, Flacco, Deshaun. I don't trust any of those guys to be productive. So I'm right there with you for this pick. And besides, the aforementioned Bo Nix is going in round 6. So if you're waiting on quarterback, this might be a good place to take him. So number 7, look, I look at what teams do to tell you the truth. You want to know the truth? Stop listening to the coach speak. Stop listening to the pressers. And like my wife says, I'm looking at what you do, not what you say. So if I say, yes, honey, I know that, the dishes need to be done. And yes, honey, I know the floor needs to be, yes, honey, I know the dog needs to be taken out for a walk. That's great. But did I do it?
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. So this team right here, they drafted a running back, even though they had one. They drafted a rookie quarterback, but then they go out and sign a veteran. So where is this team at? And that team is the New York Giants, and the player is Tyrone Tracy that I'm telling you to stay away from. Now, I know this was your boy last year. I know he was you're mining for gold, and you hit pay dirt on this guy. I get that. But that was 2024, not 2025. And Cam Scatterbo wasn't breathing down his neck to take his job. Saquon had just left. They just needed somebody. And look, I seen Scatterbo coming out of college. The dude's just a better player. He just is. So I think the talent will win out. I will love if Jameis Winston is the quarterback for this team. Now, what I'm saying will probably happen is this, and I'm in lockstep with the ballers on this one. Russell Wilson will be the quarterback at least through round four or week four. Then they don't want to throw Jackson Dart out there to the Wolves. They're going to turn it over to Jameis Winston and hello, fantasy gold. This dude will be on fire. Now, provided that Malik Neighbors, who I just heard today, is still dealing with injury and not the toe injury that plagued him during college. It's a shoulder injury. So this is something normally I don't like paying attention to preseason injury, but this is one. This guy is a first round draft pick. This is something you got to pay attention to. So all that negativity, you got to pay attention to this one. But as far as Tyrone Tracy goes, stay away from him. There's better players out there to take around that spot. Look, my boy Tony Pollard, his Tajay Spears just went down dealing with a high ankle sprain. Don't know how long he's going to be out. Roma Doomsday, he's there. Jacoby Myers is there. Brian Robinson Jr. is there. So B Rob, Pollard, I mean, all these guys are going right around that same spot. Take them, forget Tyrone Tracy, and even Kim Scatterbo is going later. So you can get who's going to be the starting running back for this team before the actual starting running back. I don't care if Tyrone Tracy is the starter week one. By week three, Scatterbo is going to be taking his job.
I don't know if it'll be that fast. I mean, I think it'll happen for sure. I mean, in my other dynasty league, I drafted Scatterbo as well, but I think Tyrone Tracy really took advantage of coming in last year. And while I'm not a huge fan of the quarterback room at all, I do think that, I really like Malik Neighbors. I really like Wandale. And I'm also pretty sure Scatterbo, whenever their game was yesterday or 2 days ago, and he sat out of their preseason opener because of a hamstring tweak. And to already be having that preseason, it makes me a little weary of, trusting in him. And like you said, he did so much for me last year. I can't throw him to the, I can't throw him away that easily.
You can't throw him in the goodwill pile just yet.
Exactly.
All
But
right.
I would agree that, with the likes of B Rob or what was the other running back you
Tony
said?
Pollard.
Tony Pollard. I mean, those are just two players that are proven good for fantasy even. And I think that they are in better situations. So if those two are up, I would pick them first. But if you need a running back, I personally still think that there's some room to take Tracy there.
All right. So number 8.
At number 8, I have Evan Ingram. While he had some promising moments, in previous seasons, last year he got injured in game one, I think it was, and ended up only really being able to play like 6, 7, 8 games of the season. Now he got traded to the Broncos, and he's with a quarterback in Bo Nix, who last season, between Greg Dulcich, Adam Troutman, and what Nate Atkins, Lucas Krull, I didn't even really hear about those guys at all before doing my research, but none of them got either 20 receptions for the entire season or 200 yards to any tight end. And I think that, depending on how he fits in with the team, how they're looking, because I mean, their projected offensive line is one of the best in the league. The projected defensive line is one of the best in the league. So he's someone that I would look to possibly trade for at the halfway mark of the season, someone to snipe for cheap, but not someone that I'm looking to draft off rip, especially with the likes of, let's see, you have Njoku, who I'm not a big fan of either, but I do like Warren, the rookie Tyler Warren for the
Yeah.
Colts. And yeah,
Now,
that's what,
I'm in agreement with you about Tyler Warren. Like, if you're gonna be taking a tight end that late, like you miss out on the first three, and I've said it before on the show. If you miss out top three, Bowers, McBride, and Kittle, then you're basically punting the position, and you might as well get somebody that's in a good environment. Now, I do think that Evan Ingram can be something. Look. I don't know what the strength of schedule is for Denver right now in the first few games, but I will tell you this. I do believe in Sean Payton and Bo Nix utilizing the tight end position more than other teams would. Okay. I mean, look, Jeremy Shockey from Saints past, um, as recent is Taysom Hill, that kind of versatility that they want to run. If they're gonna sign this guy, if they're going to bring him in, they got a plan for him. So you don't trust him, that's fine. David Njoku's proven. Tyler Warren is a talent, and we've seen the last couple of years now, traditionally, rookie tight ends do not do well. But we've seen McBride, we've seen Bowers just rewrite the history book when it comes to rookie tight ends. So yeah, I'm down with giving him a shot. Colston Loveland is a name that a lot of people are throwing around. I personally I don't want to go there just for the simple fact that he was drafted hurt. They have Cole Kmet in place, and you really, with a new head coach, a new OC, you really don't know what the plan is. They might have drafted him with a plan, but it might be not this year, but next year.
yeah.
Jonnu Smith is a name that I've seen floated out. I myself was high on him while he was still in Miami, but everything I'm hearing coming out of Pittsburgh, yes, it's Arthur Smith. Yes, he loves Jonnu. They got that little man crush going on. That's great. But when you got 3 to 4 tight ends that he wants to use, I am not about an Arthur Smith defense or offense. I just don't want any part of it. I'm good. You can keep DK. You can keep Aaron Rodgers. The only guy that I would even think about touching would be Jalen Warren, and that's it. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, you can even see with the tight end usage that happened with the Broncos last season, all of them had a pretty even split of 15, 16, 17 receptions, but all that on one player, that's pretty good. But
yeah, like I said, I think I- I'd see. I like traditionally. I'd like Evan Ingram. I really, really do. You
I'm
know,
the same. I mean, I
I
drafted him last year and
yeah.
was
So I
super
mean,
sad.
I get maybe not drafting him and maybe keeping an eye on him after week 3. Float some garbage offer to somebody and try to get
Yep.
him off your team, depending upon what their schedule is looking like coming up. So
I was just looking at it for like tight ends specifically for Denver, and it looks like they have the 11th softest strength of schedule for the
yeah.
season.
So not bad. Not
It's
bad.
pretty good.
So all right. So number 9, look, I've spoken graciously, favorably on this team in my past few episodes in reference to George Pickens, in reference to how high CeeDee Lamb should be going, how high he is going, and the fact that Dak Prescott, just on my last episode with my nephew Lawson, um, how he does have QB1, maybe even top 5 upside in his repertoire. However, their run game is severely lacking. And it doesn't help when you've got a broke down shell of a man in this next player, Javonte Williams. And look, I loved Javonte in Denver. He was the man. However, Father Time is undefeated. And when you're dealing with severe injuries and coming back at that age, I I'm not pinning my hopes no matter how late they are. And we're talking round nine. So if I'm going to take a shot on somebody in round nine, I'm taking a shot on somebody that I can believe in, that I can trust. Now, it doesn't help that he's on Dallas, and I have never in the 20 plus years that I've been playing fantasy football ever had a Dallas Cowboy, not just on my team, but I've never even done a mock draft where I've had a Dallas player. Okay. That's how deep my fandom runs. I'm just letting you know right now. Okay. So I'm putting that
Respect.
out there. So I'm for real on this. But anyway, as you see, I rep the Redskins, which if President Trump has his way, not only will we getting the Washington Redskins back, who are already in line to go back to RFK in Washington, D.C., which I love that stadium, and I was there on many occasions to watch Darrell Green and Mark Rippon and all those guys back in the day. But also had the Cleveland Indians back in Cleveland, which
I didn't hear about that part.
I'm
That's
down for
crazy.
that. He wants the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians to rename their team back to the original name. So
I heard about the Redskins,
now
but
the
I didn't
Redskins.
hear about the Indians.
Now, all right, look, I'm gonna go on a little rant here, okay, just because I can. I actually was kicked off of a national radio show back before the George Floyd stuff happened when this whole name change came about. Okay. Everybody was talking about how it was racist and how it was derogatory and things like that. What people don't know and what they don't understand is that the term redskin, when used by the Native American people, was actually a term of endearment. And it was in reference to the braves who would go out and fight other tribes and protect their tribe. They would paint their skin red to go out to battle. So every time they stepped on that field, they were going out to battle and they were going out to rep the Native American people. This emblem right here is a real person. This was a real person. This was not a cartoon makeup. This was not a rendition of some artist. This was a real portrait of a real Indian chief. So the fact that they renamed Washington the C word, which I refuse to say that on the show, um, that offended more people in the Native American community than the term Redskin did, because on the reservation, there are many high schools that still call themselves the whatever Redskins.
Yeah.
So I'll get down off my soapbox now.
The only other thing I want to mention on that is, made such a big deal about the Redskins too, but I don't know how like in tune you are with hockey, but there's also the Chicago Blackhawks,
Blackhawks.
and their name is still the Blackhawks.
Well, and there's also the Florida State Seminoles.
Yep, that too.
Now, here's the thing, is that the Florida State Seminoles get to use that name because the college pays the tribe.
Ah,
So it's money.
yeah.
That's what it is. But anyway, so let's see. Yeah, Javonte Williams, look, guys, going right around the same place as Javonte Williams is Jordan Mason, Zach Charbonnet, J.K. Dobbins, Ramondre Stevenson. So, like all these guys right here, I get that Ramondre is probably not going to be a guy that you're going to want to draft, but J.K. Dobbins, yeah, I'm cool with that. At least for the first couple of weeks, milk him, let him have a blow up game, one blow up game, and then trade him away because you got RJ Harvey right behind him in Denver. So as soon as what they call him on the ball is JK one leg. Um, so once he has a blow up game, then trade him away. Zach Charbonnet, at some point in time that Ken Walker is going to get hurt. I think the
Yep.
man doesn't know that there's 17 games in an NFL season. I think he thinks there's 12 because that's about all he plays. So Zach Charbonnet is there. If you're
Yeah, I
taking
mean,
shots, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's we're going into Charbonnet's third season only, and he's been the backup to Walker the entire time. In his rookie season as the backup, because of Walker's injuries, finished 45th overall in the running back spot, which isn't great, obviously. But then last year, Kenneth Walker gets injured again, and just playing the games that Walker wasn't in, finished RB 25 on the season as a
Right.
backup. And if you're
And
getting
right
that kind
now,
of value in the ninth round, I'd be happy with that.
yeah, and right now he's being drafted as RB 37. Jordan Mason, who's going to be sitting behind Aaron Jones and probably in a 60-40 timeshare to kick off the season.
Yeah.
And then it'll probably just go up from there. Because at some point in time, again, Aaron Jones is going to get hurt.
Yep.
There's a reason that Green Bay let him go. You're in a Kevin O'Connell offense with essentially a rookie quarterback because JJ McCarthy didn't play last year.
Play
He
last year.
basically took a red shirt on his rookie year. So I'm down with Jordan Mason that late. I'm down with Charbonnet as a stash. I'm
What are
down
your
with
thoughts
Jake
on
McGowan.
Najee?
So, well, first of all, Najee's got to be able to play because
Yeah.
right now he had a
Some
Fourth of
kind of
July
eye injury?
fireworks accident where he can't even see out of his left eye.
Jesus.
So don't go into your draft thinking, "Ooh, I can get Najee," and you think about Steelers Najee, not the Chargers Najee, because the Chargers Najee has Mario Hampton to contend with now,
Hmm.
who's running with the ones, to use a cliche, has number one on the depth chart. He's going to be starting week one. Najee's probably going to end up on the pup or the was it NFI,
Hmm.
non-football injury. So yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll stay away from Najee. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. We got number 10 of the 10 people you want to avoid. Who is Mr. Irrelevant? Who is the Brock Purdy of this group?
In round 10, I hate to do it to him, but I'm gonna have to pick Tyjae Spears. While he's had his moments in 2024, even he dealt with a lot of injuries, including hamstring strains, two different instances of concussions, and he only finished with a combined yardage of 838 receiving and running, and only three touchdowns on 152 touches. If I'm drafting a running back, I'm not drafting one, even in the 10th round, that is only getting 152 touches a season. I think that there's better options there, someone that you could take a shot on. I'm hoping that either one of your two running backs you're not picking in the 10th round. So you already have your two better ones. And you could catch greatness with the likes of, I mean, Jaden Blue in Dallas is going after him. You have J.K. Dobbins, who could, you know, maybe R.J. Harvey doesn't show out like people thought he would. So I just think that there's better options. And the quarterbacks, too, that are going around there. If you haven't
Yeah.
gotten a quarterback yet, Jordan Love, Drake May, C.J. Stroud.
Now, guys, there's a couple of names I want to bring up here before we wrap this up that I haven't really heard a whole lot about, but do have some upside at now. Look, this late, me personally, I want to stack up on running backs because running backs get hurt more than anybody. You're constantly seeing your top guys go down. So let's look at a couple of guys who could have some really high upside, and you definitely want to stash if you can.
I've got a couple if you want to go.
Go
You
no,
want to go one for one?
go ahead because I don't want to take. Give me two, and I'll give you another two.
All right. My first one, Isaac Garendo, back up to McCaffrey. I hope it doesn't happen again, but
Psst, he's hurt.
already. Well,
Look,
there you go.
look. I don't know what's going on with San Francisco because everybody on that roster is hurt. They
Always.
actually brought in Jeff Wilson.
Are you
They
serious?
signed Jeff
I did
Wilson
not
just
see
the
that.
other day. So yeah, he's dinged up. So
So yeah,
who's
Isaac
your number two?
Garendo, and then I also really like Trey Benson here. I think that
Okay.
he's a good stash with, James Conner's also really injury prone, and with the few few moments that he was able to show out, he had decent fantasy performance if you're getting this guy in the 10th or
Yeah.
11th round.
Yeah. Now, the couple of guys I want to bring up, um, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in Buffalo right now with James Cook. He's basically throwing a temper tantrum because he wants more money and wants a better contract. Dude, this ain't your team. It's Josh Allen's team. Fall in line, know your place.
Yeah,
Okay. If you're trying to work your way out of town, you're doing a great job. Keep going because the last preseason game, the reason he didn't play, he didn't want to. That's what the coach said at the presser. He didn't want to play. Not that he couldn't, not that, he was injured or anything like that. He wasn't feeling well. No, he just didn't want to.
that's crazy.
Now, when you have a running or a quarterback like Josh Allen, when you have such an ambiguous wide receiver room who you don't know who's going to be the number one, and it really doesn't matter when it comes to Josh Allen. Ray Davis is the name that you need to remember. So if it's getting later in your draft and you need some depth at running back, stash Ray Davis because the couple of games that he did get in when James Cook was out, even when he was spelling him, when he was perfectly healthy, this dude had flashes, and I like that. I
100%.
like seeing the guy take advantage of the opportunities that he's given and ball out when he gets a chance. Because these backups are hungry. This dude is hungry. I'm telling you, keep an eye on him. Now, the next guy is a little older, but Jerome Ford with Judkins not being able to play, he's probably, even if he signs today, he's facing suspension. He's probably going to wind up on the commissioner's exempt list. He's not going to be able to play. So he might not even play 2025. Okay, so if you have him in Dynasty, cool, fine, no problem. Keep him. He has zero trade value right now because there's so many questions around him. But Jerome Ford, get him the same way I was saying earlier, like with J.K. Dobbins. Milk him for a couple of games, a couple of
Yep.
weeks, let him have a blow up, and then ship him off. Okay. Now, last thing I'll mention, and we'll get up out of here, is Braylon Allen. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on the Jets' backfield. Because if Brees Hall, for whatever reason, gets shipped out at some point in time, maybe before the trade deadline, Braylon Allen is going to be worth something. I traded for him in our dynasty league for peanuts. Like he was a toss-in player to a bigger deal. Okay.
Yeah,
So this guy, Braylon Allen, he's only 22 years old. I'm sorry, 21 years old. And this dude is going to be something somewhere. If not with the Jets, then somewhere. So there's a couple of names that you guys need to keep an eye on.
another
Um,
player I wanted to ask you about too, real quick. I don't know how we're looking on time. Just what about Kareem Hunt? What are your thoughts on him?
he's a quandary. Like I don't know how Isaiah Pachenko is. Like I don't know how they're going to use him. I see them spelling Pachenko in the red zone and letting Hunt run the ball in from like the 10 zone. So if they get down within the 10, Pachenko comes out, Hunt goes in. Pachenko's done all the work, but Hunt gets the
The
touchdown.
points, yeah, I
So
agree.
how many times that's going to happen, and how many times are they going to use Kelsey down the red zone? Because I mean that's basically all he does right now.
Yeah,
And then one player that could have made my list is Travis Kelsey to stay away from.
I'm right
Just
there
for
with you.
just for the simple fact that they don't need him for the regular season. They need him for the playoff run. So, that there's a little bonus player for you guys to keep an eye on and to maybe stray away from. So now I don't know. He could be engaged or whatever to Taylor Swift by the time this airs, and he's flying on cloud nine, and he's pissed off because everybody thinks he's a sellout, and you know he's more concerned with him and his brother's podcast than he is playing football. But you know,
Yeah,
just
I
my
think he's one of those players that slowly gonna lose relevance unless they go back to the system that they had before last year. But
yeah.
in the short throws that they were doing last year, Kelsey is definitely not there for me either.
All right, so guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed recording it. Um, Now, I do encourage you guys, if you have not yet, down below, subscribe, like, share. Make sure you slam the button. Don't break any keyboards, but make sure you press that button to notify when new content drops. And if there's something that you guys want to hear about, let me know down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to do it. I am a very viewer-friendly host. I got my boy Thomas here. We've had D Money, my boy Daniel is returning champ. This guy right here was the runner up, and I was third place. So hey, nothing but the best on this show. So that's what we do here. So we have the best Lord and Savior. So the least we can do is give you the best content possible. So guys, until next time, my name is Neil. We're Thomas here. You guys have a blessed day. Make sure that you're tuning in for all those pre-draft specials that we're going to have and all the tips and tricks that I'm going to hand you out to make sure that you set a good foundation for your fantasy team. And while we're talking about foundation, remember that there's only one true foundation. That's Jesus Christ, our Savior. And remember that football is good, but God is greater. We'll see you guys next time on Faith and Football.
Thanks for having me.